Pakistan's newly introduced judicial policy created through the 27th Constitutional Amendment is facing intense scrutiny, legal challenges, and signs of deepening unrest across the courts.
64 members are in favor of the motion. Regarding and consequently the bill stands passed.
Here is what we know so far. A petition has been filed directly before the Federal Constitutional Court asking the court to strike down the very amendment that created it. Advocate Muhammad Shoaib's plea argues that the 27th Amendment was passed with malicious design, claiming it undermines the Constitution, weakens the judiciary, and concentrates excessive power in the hands of a single authority. It is the first time the FCC has been asked to invalidate the law that brought it into existence, even though similar challenges have already been filed in the Supreme Court, High Courts, and the Federal Shariat Court. The petition argues that the amendment creates a parallel appellate system, disrupts the balance between state institutions, and grants unconstitutional protection to senior officials. While these constitutional questions unfold, the IHC is showing visible signs of instability. 3 judges, Justice Tariq Mahmood Jahangiri, Babar Sattar, and Sardar Ijaz Ishaq Khan, have quietly removed their personal belongings from their chambers amid speculation of imminent resignations. According to a report in Dawn, insiders say the move began shortly after the amendment was enacted, which now allows High Court judges to be transferred without their consent. These judges were among those who last year accused intelligence agencies of interfering in judicial matters, and all 3 were party to challenges against the transfer of judges to Islamabad High Court earlier this year. Their appeals were dismissed by Supreme Court and later by the newly formed FCC. A separate attempt to challenge the amendment directly before the Supreme Court was rejected by the court's registry, which said the FCC now holds exclusive jurisdiction. The amendment is also reshaping major constitutional cases. The Lahore High Court Bar Association has asked the FCC to return pending appeals on the legality of military trials of civilians back to Supreme Court. These appeals challenge the Supreme Court's May 7 decision that restored military trial powers under the Pakistan Army Act. The LHCBA argues that transferring these appeals to FCC is unlawful because a court created by a disputed amendment cannot decide its own validity. The petition cites long-standing Supreme Court jurisprudence that Parliament cannot amend away essential features of the Constitution, including judicial independence, nor can it insulate a controversial amendment by shifting its review to a newly created forum. As these legal battles accelerate, the core question remains the same. Can a court created by the 27th Amendment decide cases that question the legitimacy of the very amendment? Lawyers argue the FCC cannot do so without ruling on its own existence. What we know so far is that the new policy has triggered a constitutional confrontation on multiple fronts. Petitions questioning the amendment, High Court judges preparing for potential resignations, and bar associations demanding the return of major cases to the Supreme Court. The FCC now sits at the center of this storm, a court created to resolve constitutional disputes, yet immediately pulled into battle over constitutionality of its own creation.